Well, I do think it's fitting that my truck journey started at the Maiden Creek Notary, and that's where it ends. My buddy sold me this truck for $200, and he actually let me take it home, and I was able to drive it home with my dad. And, he drove it. I was behind him, but it drove back to our house, which is huge because towing a vehicle is just a whole nother expense and a hassle. But we were able to drive it back and work on it, and it wasn't until my dad got it up to snuff and it was able to be inspected that my buddy actually took the money and finalized the sale with me, which is really cool because it was kind of like a risk-free thing. I mean, granted, I put like almost $1,500 into parts to get that truck up and running, but he let us have it, work on it, got it inspected, and then we went and did then I went and transferred the titles, and then we went and got it inspected and everything like that. But the whole process, it took about 7 months or something. And again, that goes back to the fact that none of us are mechanics. We don't do this for a living. And my dad's a hobbyist, and he's got a lot of tools and a lot of skills and knowledge, but it's not his daily thing. And it took a bit of time and effort and a lot of attention and care to get that truck on the road. And it makes me feel somewhat careless because I wasn't a defensive enough driver. Like, had I known that what happened was possible, because when you're driving and people pull out in front of you and you say to yourself, don't do it, stop, no, try to, you know what I mean, you just react in that way, and a lot of times they don't actually do it. Like, I don't know, but this time he went for it, and he went for it at a moment where there was just nothing else I could do just to prevent the crash, the collision. I had to just slam on the brakes and just let it happen, and yeah, the brakes locked up, and I slid right into a garbage disposal truck. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing still fucks me up. There's like times at night where I'm trying to fall asleep and I can like remember very clearly what happened, how it happened, and what the timing of it all was. And I kind of go back through the whole stream of emotions. Like, the first thing I said once we got out of the truck was like, I can't fucking fix this. Not that I can anyway, or whatever, but we're not fixing this truck. And then I said to the driver, how did you not see me? I saw you. Like, I saw you come to the stop. How did you not see me? And I get it. These fucking disposal drivers, these trash truck drivers think that they got the biggest rig on the road, so they can kind of just, they don't have to abide by the laws. But that really doesn't sit well with me because he's a CDL driver. He's a commercially licensed driver. He's a professional. He drives for a living. I don't drive for a living. I was just driving home. Now I do drive at work, and when I drive at work, I'm very conservative as a driver because we're not in any rush. I might rush around in a tree, but to me, the driving part is no place to rush. We don't make up our time on the road, and to them, I get it. That's what they do, and so he was in a rush, and he caused the accident. He didn't speak to me. He was more or less like a NPC, like a robot who said, I'm calling dispatch, I'm calling the police, but wouldn't call or wouldn't address anything. His little sidekick dude, he was all fucking up in arms with, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Are you okay? But it was like ready to rip both their heads off. And the cops came and took down our information and our story, an account of what happened. And he told the truth to the cop. And I know that because I went and got the police report. But it wasn't until after 2 weeks later, following up with the opposing insurance company, that I found out that he lied to them about the cause of the accident. And he said that I rear-ended him, which is impossible because there's skid marks in the road that prove that there was no way I could have done anything to turn my vehicle 90 degrees in the middle of the intersection other than to be pushed in that direction by a much larger vehicle. And that's what happened. So once I found out that he lied, that I had to create this whole claim, and it really just went on and on where I had to prove myself over and over again that I was innocent and go through all this trouble to do so, which why would anyone who's guilty do such a thing? I mean, what a waste of time. But I really did have to go out of my way and present this case. Like, I'm not a fucking lawyer. I'm not an insurance adjuster or agent or whatever you call these people. This isn't my job. I'm an arborist. I climb trees for a living. But thankfully, I know some people in high places, and that's not a pun intended, but I I know lawyers, and I know people who know lawyers, and so far these relationships aren't more than a degree of separation away from me. And since I have a reputation that is worth proceeding, they introduce me to these people, and I'm able to have the conversations that at least alleviate my anxiety that this isn't going to be my fault, and that I don't really need to stress out over everything. I'll be made whole. It's just a matter of time. But as the clock ticks, so does the expenses, because now my truck's sitting in a tow yard for $100 a day. I'm renting a truck from my employer for $60 a day. That's how we settled this, and it's expensive. And all the while, I don't have my own personal vehicle. So I mean, as I'm recording this now, I'm driving my mom's vehicle because I just came from the notary, and I'm gonna go home. I gotta take a screenshot or a picture of this notarized form that says that I'm agreeing to settle for the amount, and I'm not gonna further pursue any charges or anything, any criminal blah blah blah. It's all business. It's like the business of a collision is so ugly, and it's so complicated, and it's so inhumane. You know, nobody cares about anything other than the business, and except, you know, my friends and family. They care about me personally, and they're the ones who have seen this roller coaster of emotion that I've gone through, where I was furious when this happened, like irate, and then I got really sad. And I remember writing to my insurance company the description of what happened. I just kept tearing up, like crying about it, because I was just so mad. I was so mad, and I always put the anger and the fault on me. Like, I should have done anything I could have done to prevent this. I could have done anything else. I could have taken another route. You know what I mean? Go through all the hypotheticals, and it really doesn't help you, because it's like that scene in The Matrix where what has happened, and know that it couldn't have happened any other way. So just go forward from here on out. There's no other timelines or universes that are worth contemplating, because here we are in reality, in the present moment, and this is what happened. And so I have to figure out, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to proceed forward? And in a world where I know that this is the case now, or like, you can't trust the person at the stop sign to remain stopped for you to clear the roadway. You can't trust that. You can't have good faith in this anymore. And then I trusted the insurance company was going to do the right thing. Wrong. They didn't. And then I trusted that they would expedite things once we found out that there was a claim, and they didn't. It took like 18 business days to get from me saying that it wasn't a rear ending and that I T-boned him and that he was at fault, to finally them saying that we're going to settle. We're going to like offer you some money, and we're going to see how that settlement process goes from there, because of negotiation. And of course, they begin by negotiating at the bare minimum, the lowest possible amount that they can justify your value of loss, which is absurd, because it literally goes to prove that if you don't fight for yourself in this world, you literally will get nothing. They will not give you anything. They want everything for themselves. That's the business of life. And that's why it's so inhumane, is that you have to literally fight for everything and have receipts. And, you know, it's like you're innocent until proven guilty, but here it's like, well, you're a winner until proven lost. And so I had to prove the losses that I had to pay out, like all the minor expenses, every little inconvenience that is financially related to my lifestyle and my situation has to become accounted for now. And that's fine. I'm cool with that. I just wish I'd have known that from the beginning, because had I known that, or like I know now, the first thing I would have done was come up with a list of all the things that I think I'm lost and what I think I'm losing in the process, and then I would have settled there from the very beginning. And that's what kind of leads me to my regrets. Like, I regret that I didn't just naturally slow down and assume that this guy is not going to do the right thing and he's going to pull out in front of me. I could have done that. I could have yielded to him, even though legally I'm not supposed to. I could have followed up with the insurance company every single day, not waited 2 weeks to assume that this is a big company and they're working on it. No, they weren't working on it. That I had to follow up 2 weeks later, and that's what began the process. But if I had followed up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you know, maybe by next Monday I'd have been somewhere, but I wasn't. So that's a regret. And I mean, whatever. I didn't know. I was naive to that. Third regret being that I found out that he lied, and I thought, okay, well, now I can trust the process. Wrong. There's no trusting this fucking process. He lied, and I should have got a lawyer immediately to help prove my innocence and also expedite the whole claims process, because once he lied, that was step number one. of discovery as to what really did happen. But I think a lawyer would have definitely moved the needle a lot further, and maybe I'd have got more money, maybe I'd have got my money sooner or whatever. But I would at least had the peace of mind that this isn't just me in this alone. And it's kind of what my boss said, is like that they're bullying me around and I need a bully in my corner. And it sucks that that's the way it has to be in this world. But I did meet with a lawyer, and I do think he moved the needle, because he left a voicemail, and then moments after the voicemail I got a settlement that was reasonable, and I agreed to settle there. So now all I have to do is take a screenshot or a picture and send this to the agent, and then she can then release the money, my payment amount, which then I can start using it to invest in a new truck, buy something that will hopefully never have to go through this type of ordeal. But I don't know. Everything about this sucked, and I never once took that truck for granted. I used to say how much I love to drive that thing on a daily basis, and I really did. I really did. I really got into listening to Tom Petty and rolling the windows down, and just, you know, it was my summer ride, and I loved it. And I never once said that I wanted to crash this thing for insurance money or nothing like that. But you never can predict what's going to happen in life. You just got to be ready for anything. And for that, I've learned a lot, and I've got a lot to be grateful and thankful for, and I know that I'm still blessed. And just to that, one last thought is just that I want to thank music, or anyone who's been involved in my musical journey, just because I hadn't written a song for over a year, and it's not because I don't want to. I'm just not motivated or inspired, and I've tried writing songs I had not quite finished, or songs that I had finished and never recorded. I'm just not into it. But when this happened, I took a day off from work to handle the business. The second day out, I was at work, and I remember thinking to myself, like, if I could just write a song, I'll feel so much better about this. And the third day, I wrote the song, and I didn't have any trouble writing it at all. I just let it all come out, and edited it for a couple days. Rob and I had the session on Sunday, so from like Wednesday till Sunday I was editing, and then Sunday we recorded. Yeah, and I wanted to release it right away, but I couldn't. I just didn't feel right doing it with the whole insurance claim being out there. But now that things are settled, I put the song out, and so I hope you guys enjoy it. I have like 30 other songs that are unreleased, and maybe this will just be like the release of the floodgates, you know what I mean? Maybe we'll put out more music in the future, as I should, because this music, it's helping no one but me sitting in my space, and maybe it'll help somebody else. I don't know, but I will say that writing this song has helped me tremendously. I mean, it really just felt great to just get these thoughts out, because again, this song wrote itself. I didn't really try to come up with any of the rhymes or the song structure. Like, it all just came out, and when it was done, it was like complete, and I felt so much better about it. I could have never wrote the song without the crash, and it would have been a song about how happy I am to have my truck, but now it's how happy I was to have my truck, or how happy I am to have had my truck. So I know it's just a vehicle, these are just possessions, you know, but our possessions do make us, and we make them. You know, we provide each other significance, and so it's sad, but I didn't lose everything, and because of that, the story goes on. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I hope you enjoy the song. You know, hopefully it helps me buy a new truck, but I'll get a new truck regardless, and this ain't the end of me. So, you know, I'll see you guys soon.